à environ 12 km du sommet. Regardez bien là-bas devant le maillot jaune de Laurent Fignon. Fignon accélère en effet, Bernard Hinault derrière est lâché. Une image que nous avions déjà hier sur nos écrans. Désormais, les poursuivants ne reverront plus Laurent Fignon qui rythme sa respiration avec son coup de pédale et qui accélère. Fignon ne faiblit pas. Il va franchir la ligne d'arrivée avec 1 minute et 4 secondes sur ses suivants immédiats, apportant à la formation Renault sa 8e victoire d'étape dans ce Tour de France. Tandis que Bernard Hinault arrive en 10e position à 2 minutes 58 de Laurent Fignon. Il est maintenant à 8 minutes 39 du maillot jaune.
The Irishman had to show not just the ability that made him a favourite, but the courage of the sort that makes some men greater than others. The Tour de France had become a duel between the Spanish leader, urged on by the memory of his mother, and an Irishman trying to become a legend in his own lifetime. Delgado needed, in his own words, at least 2 minutes lead over Roche, and time was running out. Just like on top of Alpe d'Huez the day before, Delgado was gaining time on Roche. The Tour at last seemed to have found its true owner of the Golden Fleece. At the finish, and almost forgotten about in the race behind, Fignon was winning the stage from Fuerte. Some compensation for the former Tour winner, who was too far back this time to challenge either Delgado or Roche overall. Towards the end, Delgado was still ahead, but his arched back indicated he was struggling to complete the climb. There were anxious glances behind, and although it seemed impossible, Stephen Roche was unbelievably fighting back from a lost cause. Delgado headed up towards the ski station. His near-minute lead had evaporated in only the final 2 kilometres. Roche was not far behind, as from somewhere he found fresh power. And as Delgado crosses the line, his quest for minutes had become second, for the brilliant Irishman was only just behind him. This was a sign of a true champion and a fight back. Remember, he missed the Giro d'Italia because of that accident just before the Tour started in Italy. Now he's in the mountains here in France. We remember him so well from last year. Now he's trying to climb back up alongside Miguel Indurain. Indurain has caught Tonkov. These are the lower slopes of La Plagne. Well, Indurain looking for no help as Tonkov now takes his wheel, and you must wonder what he started, because Indurain riding so well. The gap is coming down. 4 minutes and 3 seconds now, Indurain behind Alex Zula. But again, we're seeing just what a great man Indurain is. When it comes down and the chips are on the floor, he picks them up, and he really can put things to rights himself. And he's got rid of Tonkov. Tonkov on the lower slopes of La Plagne. We go way over the rise to our right there, to the top of this climb. And Indurain knows he must go early. He must keep a fast rhythm, because he's going to have to reduce this advantage of Alex Zula, which is now quite enormous. So the man in yellow now having to go in search of the leader by himself. And I couldn't quite see what the time gap was on the blackboard, or the green board as it is these days in the Tour de France. But I think it'll be reasonably good news for Indurain. There's no sign of anybody else. Rominger here sitting at the tail of this group. And this isn't the Tony Rominger which scalped everybody in the Tour of Italy. But you have to remember that Miguel Indurain was not in the Tour of Italy, the 2-time winner of that race. Just look at the rhythm of this man. His face telling us, though, that he is fully committed here, that he's reaching his limits because he wants the time back. He hurts himself, then what does he do to his rivals? Well, he's now in full flight chasing Azula. A quick recap of the day on the Col du Marais. It was Virenque who went over the top of that small 4th category climb first. Virenque again on top of the 3rd category climb of the Col de l'Épine. And then the breakaway started to move. He's still gaining time, you know, but he's now knocking off seconds rather than big chunks of time. They've levelled dramatically in this last 2 kilometres. Indurain knows now, though, that he's riding away from the rest of the field. Pavel Tonkov, he's dropped. He's now more than 2 minutes behind him, and he's done all that damage in about 6 kilometres of climbing here on La Plagne. Still holding his rhythm. 1 kilometre to go for Alex Zülle. No doubt now that this man is going to take his first ever stage win in a Tour de France. It's been a while in coming, but it's going to be a memorable one because he's taken it so well. He's ridden the last half of the stage on his own, and there's no finer way than to win a stage when you conquer the mountains by yourself. Alex Zülle. Well, he was thinking of big time gains now, but I think right now he's just thinking of finishing first across the line. I don't know how much he knows about the chase of Indurain. He'll certainly know he's coming on his own because Saez will have told him, the team manager. As we see now, Indurain still squeezing out every second time he can claw back from this rider. Zülle, how much is he taking out of himself here now as he gets ready for the finish? Because tomorrow we have that hard day on the road to Alpe d'Huez, and after a tough day today, it will hurt. Alex Zülle then comes up towards the line. He's going to win the stage for Once. Once get another stage win in the bag. What a great race they are having. But this one will give Zülle now at least second place overall in the Tour de France. I think I'm safe in saying he won't get Indurain's jersey now. 4 hours, 41 minutes and counting as he crosses the line. This is now the chase. Alex Zülle, who started the day a fair way behind. 2:20 for the moment. So he hasn't closed in since the 5 kilometre banner. Bogart will respond, I think, to the many Dutch people on this climb who would not have been expecting to be cheering a Dutchman home today.
The difficult thing about this climb is it never gives up. The gradient continues all the way to the finish line. It's not like one or two of the climbs that we go up where at least there's a few moments of flat for Michael Bogart to recover. There is no flat at all from here all the way to the finish. We're now looking at Carlos Sastre making his way under the 4 kilometre to go banner. He's slowly but surely pulling himself closer, but hopefully for Michael Bogart, he deserves to win. And if the gods of cycling are breathing on his neck today, hopefully it's a tailwind.
He's pulled back 10 seconds in a kilometre as we go back to the bunch, and this is it move now. Well, it's up to Bolocki and Rumsas. They're the men behind Armstrong. He's had enough. He's going for it, and he still has a chance of catching the leader. And there's no reaction.
No reaction at all. Raimundus Rumsas was on the front of the group, and he wants to really bang home today the superiority that he's had in the Tour de France so far. This is the man who is leading the bike race, Michael Bogart. He doesn't really know what's going on in the race behind him as Armstrong comes out, and he now is in lone pursuit of Carlos Sastre.
Now Armstrong has left himself enough time here to wipe out the two leaders, I think.
This is unbelievable. It's absolute concentration. He waits for the moments that he wants to stamp his authority all over this bike race. Once again, he's sat in the slipstream of his team, which really, I think, Phil, now has to be regarded as the best team in the world. He's made the contact with Carlos Sastre. He'll come up alongside him, just a glance across to look at him.
2 kilometres to go. There it is. Armstrong has joined the Sastre. We'll get a time check shortly on Michael Bogart.
It's going to be tough for the man at the front of the race. He's really going to have to dig deep. His body will be telling him, please stop. Let me have a day off. Let me just finish the bike race right now. But he can't because he's now inside the 1 kilometre to go sign. And that, I think, is going to breathe a huge sigh of relief for this man because now he will win the stage, Phil. He must have been worried a moment ago when he heard that the yellow jersey had flown out of the group. The sweat is pouring off the face of Lance Armstrong. The concentration is in his eyes. He's fixed on the sight of the road in front.
And that's a real smile.
It's been tough, you know. It's really been a long, hard 18-kilometre climb. And once he heard the yellow jersey had escaped the pack, he must have wondered whether he had enough time. But now he has, and he'll enjoy this victory salute because he's been dreaming about it for almost 3.5 hours.
And probably more than that, Paul. Probably 6 years, because that's when he last won his only stage of the Tour de France in the pouring rain of Aix-les-Bains in 1996. At that time, he was being tipped as a winner of the Tour de France. He finished 10th last year. He has finished 5th in the past. The crowd react to a hero of the mountains today. He can't believe he held them off. That is an extraordinary performance. That will go down as one of the best. Well done, Bogart.
Unbelievable.
And somebody better catch him.
They better catch him pretty quickly, and the man there just getting inside because it actually does not level out at all. Armstrong is 500 metres from the finish line right now, but What a great win by Bogart. They're actually lowering off his bike in front of us. Remarkable victory.
5 hours and 48 minutes for Michael Bogart. He is in absolute tears here. And he doesn't matter, laugh, cry, kiss the nearest man he can catch hold of. He doesn't know what to do in front of us as we go back to Armstrong, still gaining on all of his rivals in the Tour de France, going into the final showdown in the mountains tomorrow, and they won't know what to do. He's just eased up here. And
Looks
he's
like
allowed
he's coming in from a training ride. It's amazing.
Ridiculous.
It really is incredible. The man has planned this Tour de France to absolute perfection, Phil. He's ridden these climbs more than anybody else, and that, I think, is the secret of his success. He goes out in the early part of the year when the temperatures are absolute freezing in snowstorms, rainstorms, and he wants to know just exactly how his body's going to react.
Well, there's a couple of seconds difference in time bones between second and third, and for that reason, I think that's why Armstrong has put Sastre in front of him, because he might well outsprint him to the line. This big man towers over the little build of Carlos Sastre. He doesn't come round him. He says thanks at 1:26. Armstrong comes through. Oh, he's just going to pedal through and look for the showers by the look of it. Here comes Bolocki in fourth place. Bolocki accelerating away. Rumsas, the limpet, is still locked on his back wheel, but he's not got the better of Bolocki yet. He still wants those seconds to claim second of Bolocki.
Petit à petit, derrière, dans le peloton, on revient sur les hommes de tête. Tour à tour, les Astana, mais surtout Ineos Grenadier et Movistar impriment un tempo dur. Beaucoup de coureurs craquent, les favoris ne peuvent plus se cacher. À 10 km du sommet, les Movistar et le groupe des favoris restants a repris tous les fuyards. Valverde est la dernière rampe de lancement pour l'équipe Movistar et quelques kilomètres plus loin, le vainqueur de la 6e étape s'écarte. Moment choisi par Richie Porte pour porter son accélération. Les favoris se regardent, Enric Mas parvient à le suivre. Un peu plus loin, Sepp Kuss, vainqueur d'étape l'an passé sur le Dauphiné, revient en compagnie de l'Ukrainien Paden de Bahreïn Victorious. Paden a plus de 30 minutes au général, insiste un peu plus loin, seul Kuss parvient à le suivre. En revanche, son accélération à moins de 5 km est fatale à l'Américain. Derrière Paden, parti pour la victoire d'étape, le groupe des favoris se bagarre à coups d'attaque. Kuss, Mas, Miguel Angel Lopez, Richie Porte ou encore Ben O'Connor et David Gaudu, autant de coureurs qui parviennent à lâcher le maillot jaune dans cette étape de la Plagne. Mais le plus fort reste Richie Porte dans les outsiders qui s'envolent pour aller chercher le maillot de leader au soir de cette 7e étape. Paden arrive, il a surpris tous les favoris aujourd'hui pour s'offrir sa première victoire en World Tour sur la montée de la Plagne. Bravo à l'Ukrainien qui décroche sa 5e victoire chez les professionnels. C'est au tour de Richie Porte maintenant d'arriver sur la ligne au sommet. À la Plagne, il a lâché tous les autres favoris pour la victoire dans ce Dauphiné. Lui qui a déjà 2 Paris-Nice à son actif, peut-être le Dauphiné sur cette édition 2021.